Did you see all those emails? I don't need to. Did you see those emails that were, somebody couldn't come and they had to leave at 5:30? Did you see that? I did see that.
You're all on the record.
Okay. So on the official record, and that's exactly Hey, welcome to our Board of Adjustment meeting. If you'll join us in the pledge of allegiance tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call for a roll call motion. Marshall McGonigal. Louis Decker.
Brenda Aspirations.
And Rex Mumford. Okay, our first item of business is BOA 2025-06, consideration action on a request for a variance to the parking lot design and maintenance required for a hard surface as stated in section 108-8-7 D6. And Tammy, you're the presenter tonight?
Yes, Felix was unable to present, so I'm presenting on his behalf. So any intelligent statements in the staff report all came from Felix, so you're aware. Let me give you a little bit of background. In January of 2025, the applicant appeared before the Ogden Valley Planning Commission to request approval of a conditional use permit for a conference/education center. This is kind of a broader term that is used for functions that allow for gathering events. This is located in the F5 zone, so it's a little bit further removed from the valley floor, certainly. The applicant has got a narrative in there, but let me go through a few slides if that's okay, that Felix has prepared. And then the applicant is here if you have questions for him. I'm not going to go through his entire application, just wanted to give you some context. So he is proposing a retreat center, essentially, the purpose of which is just to kind of allow people to disconnect and get away and enjoy their surroundings. And so one of the conditions of approval in there was that his parking lot, per our ordinance, is required to be hard surface, which we typically consider either asphalt or concrete. The planning commission, in their conditional approval, encouraged the applicant to seek a variance from that, where the applicant is looking to minimize his footprint with his proposal, and so he is seeking a variance. And of course, it's up to the Board of Adjustment to determine whether or not this request meets the criteria for issuing a variance. Bear with me here, I have a difficult time talking and clicking apparently. Here we go. Everybody see this? Everybody see this okay? Okay. Let me just kind of orient you a little bit. This is, you can see Causey Road over here, going over to Causey Dam. This is north of that, just to kind of give you an idea as to location. So it's quite a ways kind of out there. Seemingly an ideal location for what the applicant's proposing. This is their request for a variance. Applicant is requesting instead to have a compacted gravel surface in the parking area. Now they have worked with Weber Fire District. Weber Fire District has its own standards, and so as long as it will support a 75,000 pound fire apparatus, fire is okay with it. Our job is to apply land use ordinance, which specifically requires hard surface for parking areas. Applicant is looking for a waiver, I guess, from this requirement. Again, these are the criteria for issuing a variance. What Felix has put together is he's not only outlined the criteria for you, but he's provided a little bit of staff analysis. We don't typically make a recommendation. He has provided an analysis as to how this relates to the five criteria. If you're okay, are you guys okay if I kind of read this from the staff report?
Just go ahead.
Okay. Staff analysis is that literal enforcement of the parking requirement for asphalt would cause a hardship that's not necessary to carry out the general purpose of the land use code. Under letter B, staff feels that special circumstances surround this lot of record to include the proximity of Beaver Creek and its immediate riparian area and the intended environmentally focused use. Stop me if any of these don't make sense, okay? Letter C, the applicant's narrative indicates that granting a variance would allow for an ideal parking surface that is aesthetic, durable, and similar to what is done at the Dancing Moose Farm and the Conrad Ranch, which is not located in Weaver County, but I think Felix was trying to pull similar properties from around. The general plan indicates that this area should be developed as is planned and zoned, and the intended use of this property is approved as a conditional use listed in the forest zone. Granting the variance will result in a pleasing amenity for the owner and his patrons. And the fifth one, letter E, the applicant will abide by all conditional use requirements as the proposal was approved. Granting of the variance is aligned with the spirit of the land use ordinance, and substantial justice is done considering the unique conditions of the lot and the intended use. Do you have any questions for me right now? You may want the applicant to come up and explain kind of what their proposal is so you can understand better the context of this request.
So I have a clarification.
Sure.
The applicant is willing to put a compacted gravel parking lot, is that correct?
That is correct, and I may,
Okay,
Okay.
we'll have him come up.
okay, that's good.
Also, I drive by this property almost every day. I also drive by the yurts,
Mhm.
which somebody's made reference to the yurts. Why do the yurts not have a asphalt or concrete paved parking lot?
So when we talk about travel service versus parking area, and I'm not familiar with the CUP application, not as familiar as Felix is, but we do have instances where we allow a travel surface to be compacted gravel, but specific to a parking area, that is required to be hard surface per our ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have a question for Tammy? Ben, welcome to our meeting. Will you, for the record, do a roll call there?
Yeah, Ben Peterson,
He slipped in at the
I
start.
apologize for being late.
No worries. Thank you for being here. And any questions for Tammy? Okay, thank you, Tammy. We will invite the applicant to come up. If you'll state your name and your address.
Mark Overdust, 2162 Bel Air Drive, Salt Lake City, 84109. Thank you all for taking the time to hear me out. So with regards to Dancing Moose, that the conditional use permit for that is under agritourism. So it's a different conditional use, and that's why their parking lot is permissible, and it's not for retreat centers. And it is a parking lot, so it's essentially the exact same thing, and it's 3/4 of a mile down the road, both right off the road. So like that's why the planning commission suggests that percent variance. It's a riparian area, and I just feel like it's more cohesive with what we're trying to do there. We want we're trying to bring back native grasses and wildflowers and have more of that kind of a feel that supports the wildlife rather than just blanket with a bunch of asphalt.
Is in your experience of this, has a runoff been an issue? Because you are located very close to Beaver Creek.
We have not had issues with runoff. I mean, during the, what's it, 2-3 years ago, we had a massive winter. I mean, obviously the creek is raging, right? But yeah, we haven't had anything in this last year. Right. No runoff from our property that we see.
All right. Would you like to share any more as far as from your perspective, Mark?
I think that covers it, yeah. And I just we're really excited about this center that we're putting together, and it's a good place for people.
So if you understand, we're not here, nor are you petitioning anything to do with the purpose of your,
Right.
it's simply the parking lot. That's all we're really looking at tonight. So,
Yeah, and I feel like, and so I suppose the question I had is why the concrete and asphalt versus hard back gravel in the first place? Like what the aim is there, the only thing I can really think of is maybe for plowing or something like that, but we've been plowing it, we've had no issues plowing whatsoever, with the gravel, the crushed rock that we had at the entrance gate. Now, UDOT has the requirements and they don't have, as far as I know, the variance process, at least, you know, and they require us to put asphalt down and be from the gate to where it's adjacent to State Road 39. And so we did that, right? And you know, you have fast moving traffic there, so I think that makes pretty good sense. I mean, but in terms of plowing, there's been no difference for us in terms of when it was gravel there and asphalt plows right up the roads. That's right.
is your property on the south side of Beaver Creek,
It is on the,
or are you on the north side?
I'm on the, so at that point, it jogs around, so we're actually on the east side, so the right side as you drive up Canyon.
Okay, so the parking area is on the right side of Beaver Creek, if you were going up the canyon.
If you're going up the canyon, so you go in the entrance gate and the parking area is right there. And then you have the creek, and then we have all of our buildings are across the creek.
Okay,
We're really trying to make this, we're gonna have silent retreats and meditation retreats, so we're trying to create this like very pristine environment. And so there's little asphalt, it's just much more piece of what we're trying to do.
how big is this parking lot?
It is, they're requiring, I believe it was 10 spaces, 9 or 10 spaces, and in a line. And if you pull up the photos, but there's we put large dirt berms there for privacy and so that the because of the nature of the solitude we're trying to create there, it's we think it's
So 10 parking stalls
just 10 stalls, yeah.
across, and you mentioned a berm, is it visible from the highway or not? Parking area.
The parking area is definitely not visible. Yeah, that was the whole point. But I mean, the goal is for the whole property to be, because in reading the code, it seemed like, one of the goals is to, you know, not disturb neighbors, not have an impact on those around you. And so and conversely, we want people to not hear the road. That's the big reason for the berms. You know, if you have a silent meditation retreat, you don't want to hear sport bikes going up the road, you know, 90 miles an hour. Right, so. Yeah, so we're very excited about it, and yeah, that's, but again, I mean, the Dancing Moose is kind of the proxy we felt like that was just it just seemed to make sense to apply. It's basically like the exact same thing. They don't have berms, but they're right on the right off the road, just like we.
Okay, questions for Mark?
You entertain questions from the audience?
Not yet. I'll call on you in a moment. Any questions? Yeah. Hey, Mark, thank you. Okay, is there anyone that is here to support this project besides the applicant? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this?
Opposition. I have questions.
Okay, you're welcome to come up to the podium and state your name and your address.
My name is Mike Story. I live in Roy, but I own or part own the property to the south of this location. I have questions about the burn one that goes around. Apparently the dirt was bulldozed a little bit to the sides to clear the lot for the parking lot. There's big mounds of dirt around.
You need to address the board, not the applicant.
Okay.
So, and I'm not real sure, I want to know what your support or opposition is.
I'm wondering if the burn that's been cleared to make the parking lot is going to be landscaped.
Okay, we don't have anything to do.
It's
with
just piled up dirt right
that.
now.
And that's outside of our,
That's not part of the parking lot.
No. The only thing we're looking at tonight is simply to consider a variance for the surface of the parking area.
That's it entirely.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, everything else would be through the planning process. Rick, do you have any comment on that?
You're absolutely correct, on this chair, if you'd like, the applicant could come in and talk to staff. And we'd be glad to help him on, what's gonna be happening with that berm.
Okay, so that would be the recommendation.
So to clarify, there's 10 parking stalls.
That's what it sounded like this.
Is it gonna expand in the future?
It didn't sound like it. It sounded like 10 spots.
That's all I want to clarify.
Yeah, I think for our purpose, we're considering 10 spots.
Okay. Well, that's not part of the parking lot either. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Any other comments?
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion? Rick, do you have anything as the planning director?
No, I don't, you just need to go through those criterias and then just make sure that it's meeting all of those. Make a determination on where to go.
Lauren, do you have anything you want to advise us at this point?
Just let me know if you have questions.
Okay, board,
I do have a question. There's a difference in zoning between what they're using as a reference and where this gentleman's property is, correct?
it sounds like it, the reference of your property sounds like it's a different zoning, perhaps.
And I guess it might be beneficial to me to have some clarification on the different zoning. Where it comes into play or.
So I can pull up the different zoning, the parking standards apply universally though.
Oh,
Just so
so
you're
it's
aware.
not to the zone.
Correct, the surface, the parking standard surface applies across any zone. When we're looking at uses, that determines the number of parking spaces, which is not being discussed tonight.
Tammy, there's a picture here. And I've seen the berm, I mean, it's this picture, I don't know if you can,
You want me to try and pull it
you
up?
can see if you can pull it up.
Yeah,
When we're talking about compacted gravel, I'm assuming that's not the completed compacted gravel, or is it? Is that picture the completed?
that would be a question for the applicant. I'm not
Sure, I
sure.
can get that in the backside.
Bear with me for just a moment, you guys want to pull this up here.
Right, so can I ask him a
Absolutely.
question in conjunction with that zoning? Thanks for,
Or you'll be speaking into the mic, just.
thanks for the clarification on the zoning, that's not the requirement. Help me understand why the other place is the way it is then. Was it grandfathered in? Has it been there a long time? Why would it qualify as something different?
That's a good question. Rick, are you familiar with the Dancing Moose application?
Yeah, I'm not familiar, we have to go back and look and research, I'm sure there was a reason why, it was, something other than the ordinance. But either they haven't put it in as per required, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at that.
I don't wanna get him in trouble.
On this one, we are just looking at this application, we should be comparing it with other ones.
Well, just because it was introduced in the packet is why I
Yeah.
was asking for clarification.
And Tammy, there's a picture of a flip flop standing on gravel. Is that the finished surface? Do we know?
It appears so, but I think Mr. Over the best to answer that. Give me, hold on, I'm just pulling up pictures here. Is this what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay. This is, you got
Oh, yeah.
this photo showing the berm
Yes.
here. Berm here. Now let me scroll down to
You love to see that. Yeah,
right there.
there you go.
Yeah, there we go. I'll let
What
Mr.
surface is that?
Is that the?
That's compacted gravel, that's Conrad Ranch, which is Provo Canyon,
Oh,
and just,
nothing to do with this one.
yeah, it's not even the same county, but just to give an example, I was there and I thought, well, this is a good proxy, so. For what we're trying to
Is
do.
that what you're intending to place in your
Yes, yeah, so we'll put road base down and then compacted
Mark,
gravel.
Mark, because of the recording aspect of this, if you will, come up to the mic and then you can share that with Tammy as you're trying to explain that.
Yeah, so. You're okay, so this compacted gravel, that is at Conrad Ranch, which is in Provo Canyon, and that's, I was there, this past summer, and I thought this is exactly what would look great, there, as opposed to a bunch of asphalt, and so in this photo, I believe you'd asked what's there right now it's just dirt.
Tammy, roll back.
Yeah.
Pictures there.
Yes.
So those right there, that's the current, just the scraping of the ground.
Right, that's scraping the ground to make way for, because we're waiting to find out whether we need to do gravel or asphalt, so we just have it like that for now, we don't even have the road base down. But the road base will go down regardless, and we will compact it with compactor, so it'll be, we don't want this coming up. And when we're from the plowing.
So it would actually be a hard packed
Oh, yeah.
base.
Yeah.
Parking area.
Yeah, and it's they're not smooth, so they like interlock, so when we compact it, we've actually done this last week just with our pedestrian pathways, and came out really great, so.
Let me just mention, it does still have to meet minimum fire standards, so it's gotta still support, correct.
Okay, well, we have. Mark up here at the podium, is there any other questions that have come to mind for him? Or Tammy, she was up in the.
I have worked for Tammy, not to be a pain, but could you read the staff report again?
Yeah, this would be.
Is it in our packet?
It is in your packet, these photos are in your packet as well, this would be on page,
I'm just looking for that.
yeah, sorry, this would be on page.
Page 2.
Page 2 of the staff report, under staff analysis. Mr. Decker, you've got, yeah. And then above that, you've got just in general what those 5 standards are. And then staff has tried to address those below that.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, board, under item C of the staff analysis, the first part of C, the applicant's narrative indicates granting a variance would allow for ideal parking surface. That is to stay durable, and that should be period, because it doesn't matter what the dancing moose. Or some other place, that's not applicable for us. But the first part of that is correct. So probably the biggest point that I think under the staff report is the literal enforcement of the parking requirement for asphalt could cause or would cause a hardship. And that's not necessary to carry out the general purpose of the land use code.
If you want to take a look at exhibit A in the applicant's narrative, he does cite our parking lot design and maintenance ordinance, that first paragraph is verbatim from our ordinance. If that's helpful at all for you. That would be page 4 of the staff
Exhibit A.
report, yeah, exhibit A.
in the exhibit A, there's some reference again there to the. Dancing Moose Farm, which really isn't applicable, that I thought. His plow operator's opinion is his opinion. It's probably fine. Thoughts on this thing, Ben? You start us off.
I'm probably in favor of granting the variance, maybe a little stressed to find on hardship, but the hardship could be explained that,
It's my.
is this one?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Good, now you can state your.
I don't know, everybody can. Yeah, I believe I can find that hardship that the staff is referencing. With an extra cost, but in asphalt, I believe based on the area, which I know very well. The gravel. Is a better application in my, I would. So, I'm really trying to look for ways to do this when it's a little hard for me to find a hardship, but I can agree with staff.
Well, and partly because we can't consider cost as part of the hardship, so that's not part of the hardships. Perhaps,
Can you explain what is staff referencing when he's saying that it was the, would cause a hardship, but it's not necessary?
would cause a hardship, yeah, Dan, you have any idea what staff, what they are referencing in the hardship under item A?
Under item A, I believe the hardship is just that it would not necessarily match the aesthetic and the purpose. Of what the applicant is trying to accomplish with their proposal.
I think you have to base it on something like that, and this Aydelotte indicated, as opposed to the cost of asphalt versus
Compact, yeah, road patient.
Rex, and sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
I just do want to add that hardships, they can't be self-imposed or economics. We should take both of those into account.
But I don't think, I mean, it sounded like then just a visit with your thoughts. I don't think the applicant's necessarily saying I won't or I can't. I think it's aesthetically.
Yeah, it's just in theory there.
And compacted road base isn't a bad service to plow.
Great.
Yeah. So. Okay, Brenda, your thoughts?
I don't have any. I actually think aesthetically, it
Will you please speak in the mic?
makes more sense to me. I was just a little confused and thrown off track because as you know, I'm a little new. And I was taking what was in here as thoughts that could be introduced, and so I was really going back to, why one would be allowed and one would not. Because it was here, and not because I know any better.
And that is a good thought, and you know, the challenge we have as a board of adjustment is. We cannot compare what's happened on an adjacent property or nearby or far away. Each applicant or request is individual. So. That is confusing, especially when the applicant makes reference to other properties, but we just kind of don't consider that part of it. Okay, Louis?
I'm gonna have to agree with Ben on this, and we're into, aesthetically, I think it would be better. Having used both road base and the compacted gravel as the applicant shown myself. It's great to plow in the winter. So that's just my thoughts, I think it would fit the idea of what they're going for better.
Marshall?
I'd say my thoughts align with theirs and with the staff analysis.
Okay. Ben, you deal with construction. I'm not sure if asphalt has residual oil. It seems like it kind of does. I've seen it. I almost feel like the compacted has not only aesthetically, but environmentally it might be better option than asphalt. But
Yeah, I'm not an environmental expert, but I could agree that asphalt probably has a worse environmental aspect. I don't know if that's in our
For you.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
I was gonna catch him later and say, you may want to put some pit run down before his road base. If he doesn't want it coming up, the soils get really wet, I've seen that. I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Especially in that neck of the woods, that's probably true, regardless what the surface is, I think that would be important.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think the surface that he's proposing might be not just aesthetically, but it might be more long-term in that particular environment of frost heaves and,
Yeah, that asphalt will come apart in
Yeah.
years.
concrete would be all cracked and. So, cause it is shaded a good part of the winter, that particular lot.
Frost heat is brutal.
Okay, Tammy, do you have anything else that you wanted to share?
No, I
I just saw you back up here.
was standing up here in case anyone had any other
Alright.
questions for me.
I think we're ready for consideration on a motion. I've entertained motion.
Chair, can I just remind with the motion, make sure you put every point.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay. And your experience on your point. Arnold helped you there.
All right, I can make a motion that we approve the variance. Based on the fact that this would create a hardship. Based on the aesthetics of the general purpose of land use code, as stated by staff. The special circumstances also recommended by staff that the proximity to Beaver Creek and its immediate area, and the environmental issues that are listed there could meet my criteria. I don't believe that this has any adverse effect on the substantial enjoyment of any neighbors or surrounding properties. And the is in conformance with the general plan and public interest. That it is in spirit or in accordance with the justice and the spirit of the land use ordinance.
Lauren, we good? Okay, we got a motion by Ben. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any discussion before I call for a vote? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Marshall?
Aye.
I,
Miranda, I.
Then I.
The chair will vote aye as well. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we have item number 2 on our agenda is POA 2025-05. That's actually been withdrawn, so we just need a motion to strike that from our agenda tonight.
Chair, I'll make that motion to strike BOA 2025-05.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
I.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Any other business tonight? Nope. Finance director, anything? Nope. Okay, if nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Miranda?
Make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I can second that.
All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Thank you for attending. Thank you. Yes.
thank you.